Saturday Social, brought to you by EA Sports FC with PlayStation 5.
I'll talk online about the forms of Premier League clubs, and of course, don't forget this year the Champions League spaces. It could be different, couldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, the new Champions League format kicking off very, very soon, and it's likely that England will have a 5th qualifying spot this season if all goes well in terms of coefficient points. Yeah, some sides definitely need that. So what we've got today is the Saturday Social whiteboard with 4 different tiers. We've got nailed on, good chance, slim chance, won't qualify. We've then got the 10 sort of the most talked about teams in terms of European qualification this season to run through. You're going to have to stick each team on the board in a category. Now, only 5 teams can go in the top 2 categories for obvious reasons. Only 5 teams can qualify for the Champions League. So be a bit strategic, and we'll debate each team as we go through the merits of each team and try and, you know, get into each other a little bit about how good teams are, really.
Any disagreement, we'll decide?
We'll decide, but we've got 3 people as well, so it's unlikely that's going to happen, hopefully.
You have a drink, mate. You're sounding a bit croaky at the minute.
I am. I'm a little bit ill this week.
Go on, there we go. Neve, who we got first? In the
Arsenal first.
OK, where are you placing them, guys? Sam?
Nailed on. You like that one, right?
Yeah, say that again.
Yeah, nailed on. No, I think,
That's
to be
it.
fair, I think they've definitely kicked on in terms of the team that they have this season. I think they're a lot more prepared for, you know, the fighting, not even fighting for the Champions League spots. They're going for the title, and because of that, and I think they're going to go like neck and neck with City. It seems like nailed on is like the only.
Bhav's got to come to you. Can Arsenal win the league this season?
I think so. As an Arsenal fan, I've got to believe that. And I think we have improved our squad as well, and you'll see it in the latter parts of the season when it really matters. But our bench is very strong, and yeah, I think Champions League anthem next season, we'll be there again.
Neve, you are the one with the least bias here, 'cause obviously you're a Bolton fan. I want to ask you, I imagine you're going to put them nailed on as well, judging by where you're placing them there. But where do you think they'll finish this season?
Good question. Second.
Honest.
Second, yeah. I think, although I really don't think it's out of the question that they would win the league. And like you say, it's not a question of top 4, it's a question of can they win the league, for sure.
OK, let's stick them on then.
Yeah, nailed on. I think that's a very easy one to start with, isn't it? We're going through an alphabetical order here, aren't we? So which team we got next?
We've got Aston Villa.
This is Champions League we're talking.
Champions League, so the top 5 spaces in the Premier League this season.
I've put them slim chance won't qualify. I'm stuck between those 2, to be honest.
Can we move it after, depending on other teams? Or is it like...
I think we'll allow you to place and then move at the end.
You can then place and then move. Currently 5th in the table on 16 points.
Yeah.
OK, but they got European football as well, so can their squad cope with that? And I think they're probably more suited to the Europa League anyways. Like, if they win the Champions League, it'd be amazing for them as a club. But I think Europa League, they would have a higher chance of winning it. I would say slim chance for now.
I think since Emery took over, though, only 3 clubs have taken more points in the Premier League.
Yeah, they're hovering above the relegation on 25th of October 2022.
About a year ago, pretty much to the day that he took over.
Yeah, no, he's done incredible. And I think they're, like, teetering on the line. To be fair, the only reason I'm putting them slim and either won't qualify is just because of the other teams. But it doesn't mean that they're not going to be, like, pushing the teams that are going for Champions League spots. But like I've said, I think the fact that they've got European football, when it gets to the latter stages, you have to play Thursday, you have to play the Saturday, and I actually do think they're going to get to the latter stages of that competition. I think it might stretch them just a little bit.
Neve, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a hard one, isn't it? I think we'll really figure out a little bit more information in this next 3 weeks because Villa, West Ham, Brighton have all got 6 or 7 games in the space of about 21 days before the next international break. So we'll see which teams can hack it the most and be the most consistent.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because in terms of, we're talking about European football, the Europa League, obviously, we think they're going to go far, but they've struggled a little bit in cup competitions this season anyway. Obviously went out to Everton, haven't we, in Europe. Just about scraped through in the most recent game.
Emery's know-how in that competition, and I think that the squad, they obviously believe in him, but they're building in confidence. Watkins is on incredible form. The RB's fitting perfectly as well. I think they will definitely get European football again, but I think Champions League might just be pushing it a little
Well, then, what category are we agreeing on?
Slim. I'll put them slim.
For now, I think, I think for now, slim.
Okay, next up. Another side in the Europa League this season. First time in the club's history. Brighton, under De Zerbi.
Similar to Aston Villa for me. I put them slim. I think having European football, I'm not going off of just the last few weeks, but I think they have, like, not struggled. They've got some good results, obviously, coming back in Europe in the last few weeks. That was a really good result, but I think it just might be a push too far. There's other teams that have the know-how, and like I said, because we can only put 5 teams in that top 5, I'm thinking about the teams that are coming as well, and I think that they're just in the category below.
look, I want to give Brighton respect because I think the system's amazing. And Champions League calibre is there. Like, I think they would do very well in the Champions League. They're a team that would surprise a lot of teams. And I think they've got the attack for it in terms of the goal scoring potential. They've got quite a big squad as well. Some very good attackers. So, you know, it's very hard to put them on the same level as Villa. But then put them above is quite bold as well. I don't know. I respect De Zerbi massively, and I think as a manager, I think he's got the quality to be a Champions League quality manager.
Yeah, the attack has been amazing this season.
Yeah, like a middle category, maybe.
But that's what I'm saying.
There are four categories.
That's what the slim chances, right? Like they've got a chance to get there, and they've got the squad to do it. But in terms of like the fact that they're in Europe for the first time, and the players are getting used to that, you know, playing midweek and then playing on the weekends as well, it's going to get tougher at the end of the season.
And the defence hasn't been there really this season, has it? De Zerbi's talked about it, struggling at the back a little bit, conceding a lot of goals.
Yeah, I mean, they've also been scoring a lot of goals as well, to be fair to him. Something I will say about them in terms of dealing with Europe, because most of these teams have got to deal with Europe. So it's really hard not to contradict yourself by saying, well, this team's got Europe, this team's got Europe. One thing I think about Brighton where they'll overcome it potentially is the way De Zerbi likes to rotate. He's always rotating, even as simple as that attacking option, Ferguson, Pedro, Welbeck's always on the go, on the go, on the go. So there's lots. It's like Bav said, it's the system, you know, not necessarily the players. I think Aston Villa have got a lot of talent, perhaps maybe more talent than Brighton in the actual team, but the way in which Brighton are playing, I don't know, it's hard to separate the two.
Do you want to move Villa?
You want to put them in?
I want to put Brighton in slim for now.
Okay, I'll put them in slim.
Okay.
I'll put them in slim.
Slim for now.
Don't forget, at the end we can always move them. Next up, Neve, Chelsea. Look at Sam, he's itching to get his opinion in on this one. Big Chelsea fan.
I'll put them just good chance. I think they've got a good chance of getting in Champions League spots, especially when you say
that. You only have 5 teams in there.
Yeah. You know, no European football. You know, the team's building in confidence. You know, like you said, it could potentially be 5 spots. And I think when it comes to, we're forgetting that Chelsea have so many players that are out injured and key players as well. And Nkunku's coming back, Lavia's coming back, Reece James might potentially play today. But when these players come back into the squad, it's going to add a lot of competition. You can already see the harmony in the squad is getting better. It seems more joyful. Pochettino's doing amazing. You know, there was a lot of boos in the first few games because of the results, but I think a lot of people are believing. And his competitors in terms of like Pep Guardiola, Arteta have said that, you know, they should be getting better results. So because of that, good chance.
Bavs?
I would say good chance as well. Might surprise people, but I think they're a bit underrated in the sense of the results haven't gone their way. OK, this is not me speaking at this point. Maybe someone else. But the point is, I think they've been playing well, making chances, and when you got those numbers going in your favour, I'm looking at those numbers going like, eventually it will even out. And I think because they've got a massive squad, which is kind of European-based, but there's no European football either, I think they've got a good chance. Of course, depending on other teams as well, seeing how they do, like Newcastle would be there, but Champions League football is massive. But if they get knocked out early, it could change as well. But I think for now, I think they deserve to be a good chance.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Poch's... all the with Sam.
Chelsea.
No, I really do believe that, because I think Poch has focused on the right things so far in terms of he's slightly prioritised, I think, the environment at Chelsea in terms of individuals building their happiness. Because you've got to bear in mind, Chelsea's got a lot of players who have either already won World Cups, Champions Leagues, or they're of that where they want to do it soon. And they're playing for a team that, you know, is not in Europe. And he's got to keep all those players happy. Sterling, I think his improvement's been brilliant. Palmer looks excited. Mudryk looks as happy as ever. Gallagher as well. So I think he's prioritised that. And now it's just about, throughout the season, finding where's the best place for these players on the pitch. And it's only a matter of time before they pick up points.
OK, if you want to put in good chance.
You wanted people to be...
Well, I just think some of the teams who've got coming, you know...
Yeah, I also think, obviously, because they're 11th to 10, we're now on 11 points, they've got a lot to catch up.
Especially
with
with
the
long season.
So they could, it is a long
the next 8 games
but I think you make a good point
incredibly tough.
About injuries as well. They have had a lot of players out, worth pointing out. Right, next up, Liverpool. I've been impressed with Liverpool this season.
Well, it's so good this season.
Yeah. Neve, let's start with you then. Where would you...
Yeah, Liverpool for sure. I personally think nailed on, because I think Liverpool are going to be in a title race again. You know, I think there's a lot of recency bias in football, isn't there? But, you know, it's easy to forget that under Klopp, every full season that he's had has been top 4 apart from last season. It was a blip. And he's dealt with lesser team, you know, more issues in the squad before and still got top 4. Whereas now they look really exciting. Darwin Núñez has come on leaps and bounds. Szoboszlai has completely transformed the team. Salah as well. He looks to be back to his best. It just all seems to be clicking for them. And any issues that Liverpool have got, potentially defensive issues in terms of like the depth, that to me is just an issue in terms of title race. It's not an issue in terms of top 4.
You think? I disagree to a certain extent. I think when you look at their front line, it's very easy to say they've got one of the best front lines in the league. But when you look at the defence and say if there was going to be an injury to Trent or to Van Dijk or Konate, that ruins the whole feng shui of that. And we've seen what it's done in the past. And in terms of their defensive midfielder, that has been a key position for them in recent years of their success. They still don't have that player that is, dominant in that position. McAllister can play there, but he's not been the greatest there. That's not his position. So I think that those two areas, if they can keep those players healthy, then Neldon is dark horses for the league. But I'll put them in good chance because I feel Neldon should be just one or two.
So we've got one Neldon, one good chance. So you'll get the deciding vote here. Where would you put Liverpool?
They're above Chelsea for sure. And I say that because they've got experience in the sense of, like, if we're talking about title race, to beat City, you have to be in the race first, and they've had experience of that, even more than Arsenal have. So they deserve respect for sure in that attack. I think they've got a point to prove now. I think when you got Sam in the Europa League and he hears the anthem, he must be going like, I can't be here anymore. And so I think that will fire them on forwards. And look, of course, you say key players get injured and maybe changes, but that's what every team, if City lose Rodri, you can see how it happens to them as well. So I think they're a team that I fear the most, apart from City, and I respect them massively as well.
OK, so nailed on it is then. 2v1.
2v1.
That's how we do. Who we got next? Manchester
Don't
City.
need to spend too
I
much
wonder
time
where we're going to put them.
Won't qualify. Yeah, no, they're nailed on.
Just quickly then, do you all think who's going to win the league? You think Man City, do you, for the title this year?
I honestly do think Liverpool might.
Do you think Liverpool for the title?
No. It's all, you do see it every few years. You've got to bear in mind this would be City's 4th title in a row.
Yeah.
First team ever to do it.
Do you see teams... And this is the season, by the way, to beat Man City, in my opinion.
Why?
Because they've freshened up. They needed to, don't get me wrong, and that's why Pep's so brilliant, he's so ruthless, and he needed to freshen up. They've just won a treble, you've got to bring in more hungry players. However, it's still going to take time, and I do think some of those players in this Man City team have come into this team a bit sooner than maybe Pep wanted them to because of injuries, and that might cause them to be even more slow than they usually are at the start of the season.
But I think that's given Pep like a new lease of energy, because I think when you have the teams that he's had in previous years, 3 Premier Leagues on the bounce, now he's brought in youngsters that is almost going to be City for the next few years. You've got Gvardiol, was arguably one of the best youngsters in the world, and then Doku, Kovacic, the experience. He's not the exact same as Gundogan, but he is a quality midfielder, and I think those players added to this squad that is already stacked, I think it's going to... The only big miss, or the only position that you could say they need serious cover for is Rodri, but he's ever present. He's rarely ever misses a game. The only reason he missed it is because he's suspended. So,
And you saw it makes a big difference with him at the team, and he's such an important player. Babs,
for sure.
Did he win the league, do you think?
No, I'm not saying that.
You're not saying that? I didn't think it was. Put him on nailed on then. Because we want to move on to... Joe, I think you're intrigued by the next one, because it's your beloved teammate.
See what everybody's got to say.
I reckon they stay up, I reckon they stay up.
I put slim chance. I think when you look at the United squad, I actually expected more from them. When I was on the show the last time, I said that I thought that they had a decent window and expected them to almost to build around what Ten Hag done last season. But from what you're seeing, it's like they're still.
But when we talk about injuries, you mentioned other teams having injuries.
Yeah, but
the
it's not
back four's out.
But even at that, like the first few games, obviously still the first few games, but you didn't have that many injuries. Like, Martinez, Varane was playing, Mount was playing, didn't look great against Wolves.
Well, he only played 2 games, Mount, he was injured.
Yeah, I know, but you haven't looked convincing. There's not been a game where I'm like, United do look like they're a team that can get Champions League football. And I think that, like you said, there's going to be injuries, and it's going to be hard for him to really get a start in the level.
So you'll put him on slim chance.
Yeah.
You two agree with slim chance?
Well, say it, man.
Has to go on slim chance, don't they? Really, we're limited with how many we can put there.
Can only put one more in the top 2, don't forget, because there's 5 places. So we need a decision for Man United.
I'm not surprised that they've been poor. I think they lack balance, and I think Ten Hag, to get that, he has to make a bold decision. Maybe take out a Casemiro type of player and get that midfield on point, because Bruno, Mount, Casemiro doesn't work for me. I don't think you qualify, honestly speaking, but I won't say won't qualify. That's a bit bold. I'll say slim chance for now. Slim chance. Now, because look, a lot can change. They've got a very good attack, and if Holding starts scoring more goals, of course anything's possible. But I think the teams above just have a bit more balance in their squads, and I don't know if United have that.
OK, slim chance it is then.
Next up.
He is few.
Newcastle,
Newcastle.
Joe's not happy. Right, final. Let's look at the final. Should we look at the final 3, because we've got to work out who the top 5 are. You've got Newcastle, Spurs, and you've got West Ham.
Can we get any of them out of the way? So, West Ham, are you going to...
I put them won't qualify.
We need to put someone there.
I reckon I'd put them slim chance, and Villa.
You need one in each category, by the way, don't forget.
No, I think West Ham... You
have to have somebody in that box.
When you look at the rest of the squads, I just think that they edge it. And also in terms of the way they play football, I think West Ham...
So you're saying won't qualify.
I think Neve,
you've got the final say for that, then?
I agree, because I think people may be getting a bit ahead of themselves with West Ham just because they've started the season off well. The last time they had to deal with Europe last season, they finished, was it 14th in the league?
OK, 2v1 then, which means you've got 2 magnets left, Newcastle and Spurs. You can only have 1 more in the top 2. Don't forget, because there's a maximum of 5 spaces, so where do you
could swap somebody out who's currently in there under 11th.
You know. See, he just wants to... No, there's no chance that's happening. I actually... this is tough, but I think with Spurs... It's
top of the Premier League currently.
Top of the Premier League, but
in Europe.
you've got a serious... Or Spurs have got a serious spine, yeah.
But remember, that category is good chance.
It is a good chance.
And you've got Chelsea in there, ahead of Spurs at the moment.
Yeah, I do, but I want to put them there, and the only reason I'd put Newcastle in a slim chance... the only reason I put Newcastle in slim chance is because of European football, but I think they both deserve to be in good chance, to be honest.
So you want to take a team out of...
No, I'm not taking...
As a 3, we need to agree on a collective
Newcastle below Chelsea, despite the current
European football.
Despite what we saw them do in Europe, despite what they did last season.
European football is difficult, man. We've seen what it does to teams at the latter stages of the season.
Babs, what do you think?
I think Newcastle deserve more respect. I think European football is important, but how far are they going to get? You know, are they going to get to the semi-finals and stuff?
Smashed PSG.
No, they are. So it might be a last 16, and I think for them, those players as well, just for that one-off game, they'll have the energy for it. Because they're not used to it.
Yeah, I think...
Do you get the final say as the neutral in the room?
Look at it as a bit of a flip side in terms of Europe. Not that it's going to hold Newcastle back, but actually they've got a real opportunity to do something in Europe. They've got one heck of a group that they're currently dominating, and that is like a group of death. That's an opportunity to build a global audience, you know, by doing well in Europe. The Premier League can wait. I think slim, but it's not a bad thing.
OK, so you're putting them in slim. OK, and then where are you putting Tottenham? Just a confirmation?
No, come on.
Good.
Come on.
Good chance.
But if you lose players in that core, it could be a problem.
Yes, well, let us know what you think at home, because that is confirmation of our guests' chances of qualification. Joe, you're not happy about some of them?
Just one team.
Reasoning.
OK, well, let us know what you think. You decide at home what you think of our guests' suggestions